And just like that, it's a new day of a new week, and it's you and me. We're hanging out today. What's going on, everybody? Hi. It is Tuesday. We are doing another Tuesday live. Today is a very important live, though. It is something that you guys have been asking about, and I know you've been asking for a long time. I'm very excited to just be able to hop right into software and show you the newest version of Leonardo Design Studio, some improvements that we made inside Leonardo Design Studio, hopefully for the better, some bug fixes that we were able to get done along the way, and most importantly, it's setting up the foundation for a really, really healthy next couple of large feature updates coming up. So I'm very excited about it. There's been some asks in this software that you guys have had for a long time. We're starting to hammer out the list. We're done with all the Mac software crap, I will say that very, very bluntly. You guys already know with the new Mac Sonoma system, there were some bugs and some things that we had to just kind of go and dive directly into to make sure that we're bringing you a super stable software and also something that you want to play with. So very excited for this live. We're just going to go around the room really, really fast. We're going to go into the comments, see where you guys are watching in. So make sure that you're hearting these. Make sure that you're letting us know where you're watching from. But most importantly, make sure that you're sharing all of this stuff. Make sure that you hit the little share button. It's down here somewhere. Hit the share button, little arrows. Sometimes it's just a little 3-dot depending on where you're watching from. Share this on over to your groups. Let's get some more people into this live because, again, this is something you've been asking for and waiting for, and I'm excited. But we'll get into it in a minute. I'm not even going to try to do like marbles in my mouth here today. So everybody can say hi. You guys already know who's hanging out and manning the cameras, making sure that all of us look really good behind the camera, in front of the camera, should I say, and making sure that all the switching is happening is Trev. Say hi, Trev.
Hello.
And then the Sultan of Syllable, the Wizard of Words. What else? What other name do we give him, Trev? The grammatical gatekeeper. You shall not pass. If you don't know, you're there, and you're, and yours. Shout out to Anna, too, on that one. Anyways, it's Adam Sneath hanging out. Say hi, Adam.
Hey, everyone.
And we have her back, thank God, for a second live in a row. I'm super excited about it, but you guys already know who it is.
Hi, Anna.
There we go. So let's go over to Trev holding his ear. All right, so let's go over really quickly. Whoever's over on Facebook, let's hop in, see where people are watching from, so then we can hop right into the live and get started. So either one, Adam or Anna, whoever's in Facebook.
Well, I guess that's me.
To get to Facebook.
We got people in here from all over the world. Siser America Latina team's in the house.
Hey.
Swift Creek Customs.
Hello.
We've got some people from the Netherlands.
Nice.
Roseanne, hello. Saying hi to Adam. Amanda Ali chiming in.
Hello.
Watching from Kinsley's Gymnastics.
Nice. Awesome. See if some of the other gymnastic moms want to watch, too. We need more crafters in these lives, too, sometimes. Thank you. All right, I'm going to run over really quick to YouTube, see who's hanging out with us there. DB, as always, hanging out. Swift Creek Customs doing double duty, it looks like, again on YouTube and on Facebook. Sherry's with us today. Chad Poole. Oh, Chad up in sales is with us as well, hanging out to be able to answer any of your questions. We got Robert G. in the comments, Jennifer Ludd. We have Carol DeLong. We have Sonia Hazard. We have Adam, our very own Adam Siser NA is hanging out, and he's in the room at the same time. Beat that, Ellie. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, as I say for most of these lives too, I want to do this up front as well. If you are an authorized reseller, distributor of Siser, or Ellie, you have your channel, America Latina, everybody drop your links so that people have multiple ways to get to know the ecosystem of Siser. They also have places maybe to buy from, and there's multiple people that can help answer questions. So let's hop directly into software today because there's some fixes that we want to talk about and some things that I want to go over, but I also want to show you a really cool tool that's in beta that some of you may have seen and maybe you haven't, but I'm excited to show. Really quickly, Anna, what's up?
Version we're talking about?
I was going to get to that next.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
God. All right. So we are talking about version 1.1.22. So 1.1.22 is the version that we're going to be talking about in software, and I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. We do know, and I have a list. Look, I got a list of stuff to actually address today. So we did launch a version of the software back in early April. However, we know from you guys in the audience, were having some issues with print and cut and having your jobs finish the job, but then it would kind of shoot your mat off. And there was some other little minor bugs and fixes. So we've been able to stabilize all of that over the last couple weeks. And I'm very excited to show you now this new version of Leonardo that's available for you right away. So you can go in and all you have to do simply, and we'll just hop right into software to show them exactly where to go at the top of the screen. When you get into software, if you're not sure if you're up to date, go to the Help tab, and then you're going to click About. And this About will let you know what the newest version or the current version that you have of software. Now, also to that, if you want to update your software inside Leonardo, click on the Help tab again, and just go to Software Updates. And if you have a older version of software than what's currently out, then the software will automatically prompt you and say, hey, there's a new version, go and download it today or right now. So you have those two options, but I think that that's something we need to just clear up right away before we get started. Now, as you guys saw from last Friday, I was utilizing the etch tool. Okay, so we were doing a whole live on etching, and we even had a bug that we caught live on the live. So if you were in that live, congratulations, you saw a bug happen in real time, and now we have found a fix to that bug within a short amount of time. So now it gives you a real world example of how quickly we can get in, fix something, and then now it's stable, and then everybody's happy again. So with that, let's go over the etch tool first, because I think that that's probably one that a lot of people have been asking about. But right where typically you see your Build Contours tool or the little star, you're going to find now a line fill tool. So what we'll do is we'll open up this module, and this is going to take whatever shape that we're using. Now, it's important to note up front that there are some standard pattern fills that are along the top. So you get 4 standard pattern fills, and these particular fills themselves are all part of the Leonardo Basic version, okay? And then you'll have some premium fill patterns that will be available in Pro. So not only does this tool fit Basic and Pro, but you actually get some additional pattern fills if you are a Leonardo Design Studio Pro user, which is really cool. So what we can do is, let me go ahead and I'm just going to click on the simple lines and kind of see what this does. I can change my gap size, which basically is the gap in between each of the lines to create my etch pattern. So as you can see, these are pretty wide, but as I want to add more and more detail to a design or to a pattern that I'm creating, or say like an etched something, I can go ahead and I can eliminate or lower the actual gap size of the lines, which, as you can see, create a more solid image on screen. This is directly correlating with the detail that you'll get. Because those lines are a lot closer together, it's filling in less space in between those etched lines, which is adding more to at least to the naked eye, more depth, more dimension, and ultimately more detail in a project. Now, there's a few different ones, and I want to bring the gap size back up so we can see them really, really well. But we have the basic horizontal lines. We have angled lines. This one's pretty cool because you can actually change the angle itself. So if you want to have completely vertical lines, you can. You can set it for a 45-degree angle as well if you would like, but this basically will rotate these lines in any direction that you want. Then we have the hatch fill. I know that Ellie and I, when we talk about that, she loves the hatch fill because it does not only give you those 45-degree angles, but much like a chain link fence, it's adding more lines, which is more contact points in your design. And again, adding more detail or giving you the opportunity or the option to add more detail when you are making something etched. And then you have the multi-lines, which is just every which way that you can think of. And we can also not only change the gap sizing of this one, which is really cool. And let me try to make this a little bit bigger just so we can see better. But not only can I change the gap size of this, I can actually change the count in which the line. So I can have my angled line, I can have my hatch fill, and then I can get into my multi-cut by adding more lines and directions of lines, which again, all add not only for a really cool like geometric pattern, especially if the gap spacing is pretty wide, and consistent pattern, which is awesome, but also again, we're just talking about adding more detail into your designs. Now you can save presets of these as well. So if you have a particular line fill that you like or that you're really, really into and you say, you know what, that's my go-to for everything, or maybe you have multiple types of designs that you want to try new things out with, I can preset or save presets to multiple lines, which will allow me now to add a little detail, a little bit more detail, or maybe a different line type, just to add again to that actual design or what that end result looks like. Okay. Now, with that said, we have 4 premium, and I'm not going to go through every single one of them just because you guys can see them in software as well. But we do have 4 premium style designs, whereas an island design, or I mean, an island fill pattern. We also have a spiral pattern, which again, I want to make sure that we're clear about this. The spiral pattern picks a center point, and it basically has a continuous spiral around or line around in a circle, not to be confused with the circle pattern, which basically just sets a series of circles for you, whereas like the spiral pattern starts here and it goes all the way around town. It's kind of like, I don't know, it was probably 2 years ago when the Spiral Betty thing came out, and that was the first time. I know my friend over in Siser, Italy, Rudy, was at a show and showed the Spiral Betty, and for the first time for us here at Siser, and it was a really, really cool trick. But that's essentially what the spiral fill is, or line pattern is essentially the same concept, okay? So with that said, we're going to go away from this because you guys will be able to play with this today in software. There's a ton of different options, a ton of different things that you can change. Like in the rays, I can actually pick as many ray counts as I would like. Right now, we're up to 56, which I don't know for anybody in the room. Anytime I ever see, especially like say you're in a cafeteria of people, somebody's like, hey, there's 1,000 people in here. I never can look at it and say, oh yeah, that's 1,000 people. So for like this, there's 56 lines that make up this ray, and for whatever reason, I feel like in my brain there's only 10 lines. I don't know why. Okay, cool. Everybody in the audience is awesome. All right, so the room is quiet today, ladies and gentlemen, so that means that you're asking a lot of questions, which is good. All right, so anyway, do we have any questions on the line fill patterns that we're seeing out there right now? I'm going to check over on YouTube too.
Just a lot of people excited to say that we have some multiple options for line fill.
Nice, nice. Oh, Jennifer Ludd said, I actually made it to the live stream and didn't miss it like the other lives. Well, welcome, and thanks for hanging out. Let's see if we have anything. Just ordered the Romeo. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much, Carol, for that. Yeah, it looks like everybody is just excited about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next couple of options that you have inside Leonardo Design Studio. So as you guys have learned over the last couple of weeks, or at least week or so, that we have added an etch tool into software. So basically now there is a way to identify your line work, much like there's a way to identify your fold and crease, your full perf cuts, and things like that. We have added the etch tool to software too. So now it's super convenient. And it also will tell you if you have multiple items that you're using. So say that we're doing like card making. We talked about that. And we just hit the front cam really quick, Trev. But for like card making, we talked about being able to make the base of your card last week or on Tuesday when we did the crease update. However, we also showed you that you can draw that line straight through the card to add that crease line. Well, now in software, as long as you're setting this to a crease line, this will actually identify and say, hey, it's time to change the tool to move on to the cutting of your card. So that's a cool, really cool little update that was just kind of thrown in there as well, hopefully to make that process easier. However, I will tell everybody here, as we're showing the 1.1.22, that if you are having any issues and you're feeling like you're having bug problems, number one, it's important to report it to us so that we know, and take a positive professional stance on it, meaning send us an email to support, or if you're going to go to the support group, let's be kind and courteous, as have fielded some very negative comments about things that we are building and trying to structure. But also, it's always okay, and I want to make sure that everybody knows, it's always okay to revert back to the previous version until we've pushed out the current version and have told you, hey, it's more stable now, or we've been able to fix it, much like we did with this version of the software. So I just want to make sure that we talk about that stuff. Anyway, hopping back into software itself, I'm going to just keep my square up or my rectangle up because I want to show you the preset menu. And this is something that I'm very excited about. So on the Send Design menu, you guys have asked for a long time, we want presets. We want to know what even is a good starting point, not only for all of your material, but we want more than just your material because we don't just use Siser. Sometimes we're making cards. Sometimes we're using stencil material and so on and so forth. Well, we got you covered. So here's what we're going to do. When we're on the Send Design tab, we're simply going to deselect the Use Cutter Settings option. Okay, this is going to bring up a more extensive menu where you're going to have a lot of different tools and things that you can make changes to, much like I can change this to an etch tool and set my custom settings so that if I do have an etch project in here, it will automatically recognize that based off the line that I've selected. Okay. But the big thing is right underneath your speed and your force, and I'm going to actually deselect that. Underneath your speed and your force now says select media presets. So what you can do is you can drop this menu down or it'll pop up for you. And there are a ton of different options. So we have cardstock now that is available. We have volume in here. We have sticker paper in here. We have every heat transfer material listed that we carry here at Siser. We have, let's see, there's a lot. Oh, wow, there's actually a lot of stuff. So every single one of our materials, plus our cardstock, or not our cardstock, but plus cardstock settings. And again, some of these are hard-nosed settings that we've tested and we know, meaning our world of creating and our materials. And then there also are other options in here that it may be a good starting point for you. So perfect example, cardstock. I have noticed that when I would cut thicker cardstock, that actually go into the 350 GSM setting wasn't pinpoint, but I really just had to make a couple quick adjustments to the force to make it work properly. So that's something to note, that if you are getting less than favorable odds, number one, again, we still want to know what your environment looks like because everybody loads a blade differently and everybody loads their material differently. But also, we want to know if there's more that we're missing in this library. So make sure that you let us know, and we'll get it tested as quickly as we can, and we'll get it uploaded. However, if you're not, you're saying like, hey, Pat, I don't want to wait for you guys to push out another update to get the presets I want, check this out. Right next to the Select Media preset are 3 little dots. Okay, I can click on that menu, and now this is going to open up the entire preset library that's available inside Leonardo. Now I'm able to make adjustments to any of the tools. As you can see, I can adjust the force if I want. I can adjust the speed. So that's a great way that you can then take those settings, customize them to your environment. However, I can also just create a brand new setting. So let's go ahead and create a new setting and call it Trev settings. I just needed a name, so thank you, Trev. In advance. So for Trev settings, say he's doing a lot of folding and creasing because he's making cards, he's doing a lot of cutting, but he's also going to be doing some sketching. He's going to be using a pen tool or whatever it may be. So I can actually go through and I can set each individual operation inside Leonardo. So for Kiss Cut or cutting regular material, let's say that he prefers cutting at 12 because he's using Easy Weed a lot and would much prefer to cut at a higher speed than 8. So he can cut at 10, okay? And then for fold and crease, we've already kind of talked about some of those general settings, so I'm just going to give some basic information in there, 80 for the actual force, and then for the speed, we're going to go 10. And like I said, he's sketching, but we're using softer tip markers, so we want to bring the force way down to 5, and then maybe bring the speed up to 11 or 12 so that we don't have the marker sitting too long in one place, and then it starts to pool ink, right? So now we've basically created a brand new cut setting for not only cutting material, but also folding and scoring, also sketching. And if I really wanted to, if he does a lot of etching as well, we can add an etch tool in there. So what this setting does for us, once we hit apply, and then once we save the changes to our media library, I now can go into Trev settings, and there is my cut tool with my force of 12, and then my speed of 10. But if he's going into folding and creasing, now you just saw my cut setting automatically changed based off of what I'm using every single day. So this is a great option and a great tool if you are somebody that creates with multiple types of media in your world of crafting or small business or even big business. You now have the ability to actually change and manipulate those cut settings directly inside Leonardo, and hopefully that gives you a lot better outlook or outcome for your projects now and in the future. Do we have any big questions that came in on that one that haven't been answered yet? Let's check over on the YouTubes. Such a good, yep. No. So DB said it's such a good feature. I really like this one a lot. And maybe we can add Trev settings to the software. That would be so cool to do that. All right. Let's see. Big questions. Okay, cool. Not a ton of huge ones over on YouTube either. Okay, cool. So we're moving on. All right. Now there are a couple other little things that I want to show you as well. So you can use in software, you can use a blade for fold lines. This is just as simple as select, changing your cut settings. That one is kind of here nor there. What we're really focused on, we're focused on that media library. Now, there's another option inside Leonardo that I wanted to show you guys. Do you want, or can I get into the beta tool first, or is there anything you want me to show next? Okay.
And that'd be great to have a favorites option on the media library that allows viewing favorite ones first.
Tony, I know you're watching, so that is a really good note. Actually, can you Teams them and just double check, make sure? Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think just being able to save, yeah, your current settings or just saving your settings in general is already, awesome sauce. But I think you're right. Having a favorites option for things that you go to pretty regularly would be really great. But also, just so you're aware, make sure that you can have auxiliary settings or all the normal settings in software. And then on the cutter, you can also save. Remember, you can update and save any of those settings as well. So if you find yourself going to the same settings over and over again, throw it on the cutter, go to the material library on the cutter, select the material that you've updated and changed. You can change the name and everything. And then that's a really quick way. The only thing that you would do on the Send Design page is just select Use Cutter Settings to make sure that it's not trying to process information from the software. So either way, it works really, really well, but I think it would be awesome to be able to favorite those. So, okay. Now what I want to show you is something that's been around for a while, okay? And this is something I got very, very special permission from the software team to be able to show you this, because this is something that I'm going to say is not in, when I talk about software being in beta, like the 22 is right now, I mean that's in beta, but it's pretty stable. We're ready to graduate it. This is something that we've tested quite a bit in-house, and we've had some external testing done, but I figure we're just gonna go through it together and you guys take it for what it is and see if it's something that, that you're interested in. So down on the My page, about halfway down the page, if you haven't had a chance to travel to the My page very often, there is what's called the Image Vectorizer Beta tool. Okay, and this is basically a really cool vectorizing tool where I can bring in a JPEG or a JPG file and then a PNG file, and I can convert these files over into an SVG. So typically your print then cut files to an SVG. So I'm going to go ahead and find a file, which these are all my these are a couple PNGs. You guys have seen these in multiple lives that I've done. But what we're going to do is we're going to let the image vectorizer kind of do its work. And then what we'll have to do is some fine-tune adjustment to get to our destination, which is having our design completed. So once our source image pops up, that's basically the software saying like, hey, we got the PNG, now we're going to start converting. Keep in mind with any PNG that does not have a transparent background, much like the one that I have here, the background will be treated as a shape too, so that you'll probably get a white square as we go through this tool. So I just want to keep that in mind. There's nothing broken. There's just adjustments that you have to make, along the way. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to colorize the SVG layers, and this is just going to give me the source colors that it's finding. Now, it found a bunch of shades and a bunch of other colors. However, these are the main ones it's showing from the design itself. There is an auto select or an auto set the threshold, which will automatically determine how much of that design is being visible and then captured and revectorizing. I like to typically just turn it off for the time being, and I bring that threshold all the way up to its absolute max of what it's going to allow me to do. Now, with that as well, there's a couple other options that we have for this one. I'm going to turn off the auto set the number of layers. And because I know personally that there's multiple layers in this design, I want it to find all the appropriate layers. So right now it's finding 1, 2, 3 layers, plus the white background is what it's considering as part of that image. So I'll colorize the SVG as well. And as you can see from my original source image, everything was vectorized and came through properly. There's just a couple of colors that are misaligned. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now from here is I'm going to actually use this particular file in software because I feel like I got enough of my my raster image vectorized. So now I can go in and either save it to my PC if I'm comfortable with the output, or if I know that I have to do a little bit of workaround, then I'm going to bring it into software. Okay. Now, like I said to you guys before, it is going to treat the back layer or that white background as a layer. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup this whole design, and I can pull that white background off and completely eliminate it. Okay, because we don't need it at all. It's not going to be useful for us here in a moment. Now, I know in particular, this design itself that we're going to be using, I know that two colors have to just flip-flop, okay? So what cleanup you have to do for your own files at home is all going to be dependent on how you bring this file over. But this design or this image that I have, and again, you guys have seen this on multiple lives, it's more of like that TikTok-y themed glitch effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the your, which I know already is supposed to be the blue in my design. And I'm going to go over to the eyedropper and just select that blue. And then what I want to do is I want to take the craft, which I knew that color was supposed to be black, and I'm going to just adjust that. So now I have a SVG that is a cut file that I just transferred from a regular PNG file. So that's kind of how the vector tool works. Just a little bit in depth. Now, there's a ton of options you can play with. You can make fine-tune adjustments within that tool as well. Let me go back to it really quick. Let's go back to the vector, image vector, and then we'll bring in this file again. And we're just going to play around with some of the settings. So, and if you guys have any questions, make sure that you drop them. If obviously you like what you're seeing and you love some of the new updates that we have, I want to see a bunch of hearts and likes over on the side here. I know they float somewhere in here. Usually they're floating. So if I can capture one or two, that'd be kind of cool too. But anyways, all right. So we have our source file again, which is our source image that we're working from. And then we have a lot of different options. So I'm going to show the advanced options. Now it's auto-selecting the number of layers. It wants to basically select the least amount that it can. We already talked about just eliminate that, and it will start to add more layers as you adjust that bar. And sometimes it takes a second to kind of process through. But while that's processing and everything, I want to go really quick over onto YouTube, see if anybody is, oh, there we go. Johnny, is it Nugin, I think, said, been using the vectorizer for a while and it's awesome. Thank you so much. Is it Nguyen? Nguyen. Okay. Johnny Nguyen. Thank you so much, Trev. I appreciate it. But has been using the vectorizer for a while and absolutely loves it. Let's see. There should be, yeah, I can really quickly, let me run back onto the material library. I want to say that there is one for strip flock on that preset. Now, I will say that there is a strip flock preset for, who was asking for that? Carol DeLong. There is a preset for strip flock on the cutters as well, just so you're aware. But let's double check the list really quick, and let's see if we can find strip flock. I'm sure it's in here. I just got to look for it. There we go. So heat transfer vinyl strip flock Pro. It is right there for you. It has a setting. And again, oh, I had the fold increase stuff in. Some of the settings can be adjusted from point to point. Like for this one, I would throw a 45 in there. But again, that's all based on you using the preset library and fine-tuning those to what you see fit. Let's see. Is there a rhinestone option? Very good question. The next, I am telling you this, and Tony is listening too, the next big software update will feature rhinestones. I promise you this. We are working on it very diligently. I know Tony's pulling his hair out right now, but that's okay because that's why I'm here, and you get to pull your hair out. So thank you. Love you. Let's see. This is actually a really good one. Now we just need an option to set the number of passes for cuts. That is actually a really good one. I will tell you a quick way to create multiple passes, especially if you have the same design and you're just looking to basically go through, cut it once, and then come back and cut it again. Over on the design page, okay, and I know this is going to sound really weird to most of you, but it works really well for me. This is something that I use pretty regularly. But let's go back to, because where a big use case would be is, again, making a card, right? We sometimes have really thick cardstock and we have to be able to do multiple passes. To cut that, the same rule applies for like leather, leatherette, those thicker materials that we just know are going to need more than one. So what I can essentially do is when I have my card, or I'm just going to put the body of my card here, right? I can hold down Control or Command and just hit C and V. And what this essentially did is this created another layer directly on top of my back, the layer that I'm trying to duplicate. So it's a really quick way to be able to accomplish exactly what you're talking about and have multiple passes is just taking your image and creating multiple layers to it. So 1 to 2 layers or 2 to 3 layers. If you have a lot that you're cutting, I understand it becomes cumbersome. So that's why we'll work on it in software to make sure that we can get a process that's a little more convenient for you. However, currently in software, that's been the best way that I have found and the fastest way. So a lot of times when we do these, a lot of people ask me, and if you haven't yet had a chance, over on our YouTube channel, we just launched the top 10 questions that we get asked about Leonardo, and this was part of it. A lot of the questions people ask me are like, Pat, when you're doing these lives or you're doing demonstration in person, I notice you hotkey a lot of things. I go for, and I'm the type of creator that goes for speed and efficiency as opposed to being in software and playing around with stuff. So for me, when I'm creating things, and especially when I give you guys kind of the pro tips, it's just things that I have found that works best for me in my environment. And again, I go for speed first to try to get things done, but I try to go as accurate as I can as I'm running through projects. So much like a 2-cut, yes, to have a simple 1-click multiple pass, that is a great option. But in this case, it's really quickly to just a Control-C, Control-V, or Command-C, then Command-V, and then a copy and paste that layer directly on top of the layer behind it, if that makes sense. So, okay, do we have any big questions, anything over on Facebook? Because we're through this. We cruised through this today, which I'm really happy about.
Just if this vectorization tool that's currently in beta in Pro and Basic, or just Pro?
That is a question for Tony to answer, because I believe it's in both, but I just want to make sure with Tony. Actually, no, I'll test it really quick. Let me turn mine over to Basic. Go to the My page, and then I just hit cancel on this one. Yeah, I'm in Basic right now, and I'm seeing it, so it's available. And Tony, if it's not available, make it available now, because I see it in Basic. But no, I'm over in the Basic software right now, and it's showing up on my page, so should be good to go. All right, any big other questions, anything crazy coming in that you're like, hey, we got to answer this today or now? Oh, here goes Adam.
Question from YouTube.
Okay.
Is there a way to rotate an image or shape on your artboard by typing in the angle that you want to rotate it?
I actually wish on that one. No, there's not a super convenient, quick way to do it. Another really good, actually, if one of you send that to Tony too, I think that's a great option or a great suggestion. But that would be really cool to just select the angle in which you can rotate it. However, in software, there is a way to do macro-like movements and then micro movements, even with rotating. So we use, again, a square just as a simple way to see this. So typically what I can do is I can move and just adjust the plane or the rotation. And if you check up above the little green dot, it will give you the degree. The only problem is it won't let me like right-click, select the degree, and change it manually. So that's the easy way to do it. Or if you want to do it in increments of like 15 degrees, all you do is hold down Shift, and then you can move it in that same direction, and it'll move to 15, to 30, to 45, to 60, so on and so forth. So this is a really easy way to get to like 90 degrees accurately quick, or 180 degrees. But for the most part, I think it's a great suggestion. If you guys have any other suggestions, make sure that once this live is done, especially if you're over on YouTube, because a lot of times what happens is as soon as we're done with the live, it kills all the comments from the actual live feed, and it starts basically as a new thing. So make sure that you drop those comments in there. Hey, it would be really awesome to get X, Y, and Z in software. It would be really cool to do this update. The one thing that we ask for, guys, especially over in the support page, is just be kind and courteous to not only the staff here at Siser, which is number one for my priority list, and the other number one priority is being respectful and kind and professional to the other users inside the support group, but bringing that information to us as asks, right, instead of like yelling at us for not doing something, because we've gotten a lot of that lately, and we understand we're just as frustrated, our software team is just as frustrated as you guys, because we want an awesome system that works, that's super stable all the time, but sometimes other things take a priority, and we have to fix those to give you the best output or the best opportunities to create and design and make beautiful things every single day. So we take that really, really to heart when we get those comments or those questions and that feedback, and we want to know more about them. We want to understand them, and we also want to be able to develop and be able to check things off of our list to say, hey, somebody asked for X and we were able to get it done for them quickly. So make sure that you're continuing in a positive way to draw in all of those questions and asks. You can always reach out to us over at support@siserna.com. You can also reach out to us at info@siserna.com with any of those suggestions or anything that you want to see in the next feature update or the next video content or whatever it may be. Make sure, though, that you head over, especially if you're a newer user. We always say this, to make sure that you go to our website, siserna.com, siserna.com, and then you're going to go and find the Cutter tab, and then underneath that will be Leonardo Design Studio. You can go in, you can try the basic Leonardo software for free. It's always free to you. We don't ask for credit cards or anything, but that'll give you a great opportunity to play with the software, try new things out, and see if it's something that's for you. And if it's for whatever reason it's not, we have two incredible cutting machines that are also coupled with this. So if you have a design software that you prefer, utilize Leonardo Basic. Try out our cutting machines because they are super accurate, super precise, and super fun to play with and very intuitive. So with that said, one last order of business, or Anna will literally throw a shoe at me, I feel like, is that you guys already know, when was Earth Day yesterday or the day before? It was yesterday, correct? Okay. So yesterday we launched a giveaway for Earth Day, and it's a really simple one. Over on our Siser North America main page on Facebook, there is a post for Earth Day, and all you have to simply do are three things like you guys always know. Make sure that you're obviously following us at Siser North America. Make sure that you like and honestly, as you guys know, bonus entries to share our posts and stuff like that and tag us. But the most important thing is you have to let us know one simple thing in the comments, and that is simply, have you had a chance to try out the brand new Eco Stretch yet that we've launched very recently, I should say, within the last few months? And then you're entered into the giveaway. And we're really excited because the giveaway is going to happen Friday, right? Friday? Are we doing static or do we want to do video post? Okay. So static post over on the main page. We will make sure that that's Friday. You guys already know I've done the keyword giveaway like 5 times already. So you're already going to see bots popping in pretending to be us. Here's how to keep yourself safe. Check the profile. Click on the profile. If number one, they don't have more than a couple photos, it's probably fake. If they have less than a few thousand followers, more like the 80s, 90,000 followers, they're probably fake. And you will never get us to send you a link. Adam's not going to send you a link and say, I need your credit card information or social security information unless we got a big trip coming up. But I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But he's going to ask you for where you live and then a good legal name for you so that we can get your prize pack shipped out. So don't fall for any of that malarkey, or give me a fancy word, Adam, to say. Not malarkey, but shenanigans or hubbubaloo, all right? Don't fall for any of it. We don't fall for that stuff here at Siser. So with that said, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you can hashtag replay, share with your friends, make sure they hashtag replay, make sure you're tagging your friends so they can get involved with the giveaway. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with next inside Leonardo and all the things here at Siser. And until next time, we love you. Stay creative, everybody. Bye.